Hello and welcome to Beyond the Bio. This week I am joined by Natalie Zabrocki, who is our creative director here at Moja. And I'm really excited about this conversation because we're going to get into all things personal brand design and graphics and how things look and feel, which I think is a really interesting topic.
It is,
Welcome to the show.
absolutely. Yeah, thank you.
Your first time.
Thank you for having me. I know.
First time on Beyond the
I
Bio.
know.
So I'm seeing loads of stuff, particularly online at the moment, in the online space, around personal branding and it being colours and logos and things like that that represent someone as their personal brand.
Yes.
Like, how do we define this? Like, what is it?
So rather than, I guess it's the difference between what a corporate brand is and what a personal brand is. So I think if you're looking at personal brand, you want to make sure that it echoes the person. The personal brand is like the human side of things, where like people buy from people, don't they? Whereas business-wise, corporate design is something that's slightly different. So I think when we're going into personal branding, we really want to look at how that person wants to come across, how that person is authentically themselves, and what visuals bring that to the fore.
Because sometimes I feel like it's a bit fluffy.
Yeah, I think it probably can be, but I think there are different ways of showing it. I mean, I think if I go to someone like myself, I'm very colourful. I like having lots of things going on, whereas someone else might have a different personal brand where they're a bit sleeker, a bit more modern. I don't know. There's different ways that you can do it, but it also depends what they're wanting to do and what they're wanting to put across.
That makes sense. And I guess we could almost chat through a bit of a live example because at the moment we're doing a
Yes.
rebrand of my website.
Yes,
so
we
if you
are.
think about the brands that I'm associated with,
Yeah.
obviously we've got Mojo, which is a more corporate, but I would say more playful than your traditional
Yes,
corporate.
yeah.
We've got the Get Known Club, which is a more playful version of
Playful
Mojo.
again on top of that,
So
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
And then I have my own brand. So I've got the Sophie website, which I use for my speaking and
Yes.
host some of the stuff around my books on there as well. So we've recently rewritten and updated the copy on there, but we're now literally in the process this week of looking at revamping that. So I guess let's have a chat about what kinds of things do you need to ask me?
We could guess,
about that?
have that as like a live briefing session, I
Yeah.
suppose. So probably from the beginning, how old is your current website? It's got to be quite.
That's a good question. It
quite a
must be
while.
about 4 years, I would say.
Yeah.
So it's a bit tired, I would say.
Yeah, and that was kind of early days of Moja
Yep.
as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So now Moja's grown that much. You've grown and what you've done. So it's probably thinking, what is your audience now? Is your audience different now than it was when you first had your original website done? So do you have a direction that you want to be going in?
So I would like my website to speak to a few different types of people. So I guess that the primary aim of that website or the purpose of that website is to promote the books, but also to get more speaking engagement. So we get speaking inquiries off the back of the website. So it's going to be event organisers, it's going to be corporates that are looking for someone to speak at one of their events. It might be someone that's interested in what we do at Mojo, but they find my website and then they kind of pop
How we
across.
redirect that back to Mojo.
People that are interested in personal branding that have come to kind of look and see the books and things like that. So that's probably not the answer you would want
the kind
in
of
your role
direction.
because that's quite a varied audience.
It can be, but then
speak to all of them.
It's important that whatever design you have does talk to every audience, and whether it's you've got a sort of Sophie Milliken top level brand, and then you've got different things that you do for different audiences. So this is where things like color comes into play, where you could have a brand that has a few colors as your main, but each individual audience that you're going out to or that might be coming to you for speaking opportunities, you can look at different colors to represent different areas.
And what's more important, is it thinking about who the audience are or is it thinking about the individual in this case? So does it matter more what I like or what I think the audience might resonate with?
I think it's a really difficult question, that one, because it's got to be a bit of a crossover, because you have to be representing yourself, because at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to be doing these speaking opportunities and all these different things. So it has to be you but it has to link to who you're going to speak to as well.
It's got to connect, hasn't it?
It's got to connect. Everything's got to have some kind of consistency there.
So what are we thinking about colour-wise for me?
So Moja is black pink, isn't it? It would be nice to bring another colour in there that would link to those two.
Do you know what? I've had my colours done in terms of styling. I'm not wearing any of them today.
Well,
so
that's fine.
Helen Lee will tell me off if she's watching. But I did go and get my colours done. And I found that again was one of those things where I thought, is this frivolous and a bit fluffy? And actually, it's been very enlightening.
Okay.
So Helen Lee told me that I, as an individual, am a soft autumn. So anyone that's had their colours done, that will make some sense. So the colours that suit me, and this is around what I'm wearing, so it's not totally transferable to a website, for example, but this is quite interesting, is browns and greens and orange, I think is one of mine, like a corally kind of colour. So colours that I never used to wear, that I would never have gravitated towards at all. And actually, discarding today, I'm wearing a lot of those colours, and I've got so much brown and green in my wardrobe now, it is ridiculous. And I really like those colours now.
Does that bring you more confidence, do you think?
100%. Yeah, it really, really does, because
it's crazy how colours can make that happen.
Yeah, it was really surprising. I mean, we'll get Helen Lee on the show at some point, but she would put those colours next to my face, essentially, and she would show me the colours that drained me. So when I was choosing clothing in the past, I would choose things that I just like the look of, and I would be drawn to it because I like the look of them. But what she was showing me was, and the shape's got something to do with it as well, but it was the colours. So she'd put, a colour swatch on me, and it would be, trying to think of an example, like a light grey. And actually, I probably quite like grey as a colour, to be fair, but it would just drain all of the colour out of my face. Whereas when she was putting the browns on me, my eyes looked really green, and it just changed the tone of my skin. And I could not believe how different it was. It was mind-blowing, actually.
It is really, really interesting.
So maybe I need those colours.
So maybe we need to do, we do need to bring some colours in. Well, I know, it's trying to work out how you then bring that together. But like the Moja pink stands off the black for Moja, maybe we have another colour that stands off black for you. I think when it comes down to something that is for you, that's a decision you're going to have to make, where you're thinking, do I want this to be standalone, or do I want it to be Moja?
I think standalone's fine, because you're still going to be linking people through to the other websites anyway.
Yes,
And another thing that we've been talking about has been having a logo. So
I know that I talked to you about your handwriting, didn't I? I kind of went into that where I was thinking,
you need to explain that for context.
If you can bring your personality through your writing, I think some people, like doctors, have hugely messy writing. Some
Mine's
people
worse than a doctor.
Really? Is it
awful?
Okay, so maybe we don't go down the handwriting route.
It's so bad.
But I think that's quite a nice thing, where it really brings that personal touch across. So if that's something that, if you had a lovely script signature hand, it would be perfect. But maybe that's not something that we go.
What are the options for me if the handwriting logo's kind of off the table?
This is where typography comes in.
Okay.
So looking at different variants of typography, whether you want something that is...
So is this fonts?
Fonts, yes, yes. So when I say typography, I mean sort of fonts.
It's the fancy word.
Formal fancy word for it. So there's so many different fonts out there that you can link different fonts to different moods, different emotions. They come across in a different way. You can have bold fonts if you want something that is really bold and in your face. If you want something that's softer, you can go for a more cursive script. There are so many different things that you can do with it.
So when people are thinking about their, what their personal brand looks like in this context, where are they likely to use these colours and the logo of their name or whatever it might be? Like, why do they need this?
Anywhere that they present themselves. I think the visual world is so initial. That's your first point of call to anywhere. The human brain is constantly looking at things and constantly taking in visual information from everywhere. So I think, and even before you speak, before you've introduced yourself, really, whether you've got an email signature, whether you've got a business card that you've handed over, if you're doing a speaking presentation, you've got your PowerPoint slides behind you, people see that before they hear you or before they hear whatever you have to say. That visual language communicates things instantly and clearly.
So in terms of assets that could be created, it would be a color palette, it would be a logo, it could be a slide deck,
Yeah.
sorts of
Yeah, I
things,
think looking
email
at
signature.
email signatures, when it's something that is a personal brand, you've got your logo, you've got your color system, got your different color palettes that you use. I think the simplest sort of assets that you can start off with, your LinkedIn banner, as you know, do a lot of LinkedIn training and things like that at Moja. So it's a really important advert. Basically, you use that as your billboard for who you are, what you do, bringing in your logo, your colors, your identity into that, and then bring that across everything else that you do. So you've got your PowerPoint templates, whether you speak it, sort of speaking templates, into your website, into your email signature, anything that is a touch point of someone being near your brand should look the same. You need to have that consistency through.
So LinkedIn's a really interesting one because I love LinkedIn. I mostly love it. Sometimes it annoys me, but I do mostly love it, and I preach about the benefits of using LinkedIn because I think it's very effective. So I've got a premium account, which means for a banner, I can have 5 that rotate on a carousel.
Yes.
At the moment, I'm using 3 that rotate. So I've got one that is the one that all the team have got, which has kind of got a strap line, it's got the Moja logo, it's got an extra photo, and then it rotates through to a sign up to the Write and Retreat waitlist banner, and then it's got one that takes you to this podcast. So they're my 3. But they are all branded as Moja.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this? So should I have Sophie Milliken ones instead? Or should I use all 5 potentially, or is that a bit confusing? So could I have one that's like the Moja one? Could I have a City Ladies one? Could I have a Smartworks one? And then have a Sophie Milliken one that takes people to my speaking page? Or is that just going to blow people's minds?
Well, that's a really good point because there's so many different branches to what you do. You need to represent yourself fully in all those different branches. So I think that utilizing the 5 banner, you've got your premium account, you've got your 5 banners, utilizing all of those,
even if they all look totally
even if they all look totally different. I think it's difficult until you see them all together, if it is going to be too confusing. But with the banner, that they rotate, so you're never going to see all of them next to each other at the same time.
Correct.
I'm sure there are so many people that do wear so many different hats. Even probably within one organization, they probably do many different jobs. So utilizing it in that way does make sense.
If there is someone watching or listening that is very into growing their personal brand, that's why they listen to Beyond the Bio, but they don't feel like they have any colours or a logo, they haven't done any of these asset creation type activities yet, what's the best starting point for them? Do they need to figure out exactly what they stand for first? Is that the first step? Or?
Having a bit of messaging to know who you are, what you do, and why. I think trying to get some kind of base idea in just notes, in just note form. It doesn't have to be drawings, it doesn't have to be colours. It's just getting words out there on a page, but almost like a mind map, just to get those ideas down. Something could pop up from that. Something visual could appear out of all these different words that they're writing down. That there could be a common theme that runs through what they write down. But I think it's hard just to say, right, I need a logo. There it is. Because it
you're not in someone's head,
anything.
are you? Like, how do you do that? But so what kinds of questions? So say we had a new client that walked into this room now and they were like, right, I need a personal website and I have no colours and I have no logo and I don't have any of this stuff yet. What kinds of questions would you be asking them to try and figure out? Because otherwise that is so hard, isn't it, for you to not have a brief
to not
understand what's in their head. And the frustration is they probably don't even know what they want because they've never done this. So what kinds of questions or prompts or reflection points are you going to be putting their
going to
way.
be putting out there to try and get some kind of brief. I think it is difficult when people say they're not a visual person, because everyone does have likes and dislikes about what they think looks nice, what they think doesn't look nice.
That's so funny, because I would absolutely say that about me.
I've heard you say this before.
And I have an interior designer that I use at home.
Yeah.
And I always say I'm not creative, I'm not visual, so that's why I need to use her to do all that stuff
Try
in
and
my
pull it
house.
together, yeah.
But she would laugh, and if she's watching us, and she'd laugh too, because I know exactly what I don't like and what I
Yeah.
like. But
Yeah.
luckily for her, she's kind of understands a bit more about what I like now. So even though I can't articulate it at all, she
Yeah.
will show me stuff, and I can very clearly go, hate that, love that, or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's just
Yeah.
made me laugh.
So there is, and people who aren't necessarily arty, who don't like drawing stuff, or I mean, everyone can draw, but people might not like doodling or putting things down on paper. They will know what they like and don't like. So I think starting off, I'd be asking the questions: what is your audience? What is it that you do? Give me a background on your last year of what you've done, or it's trying to bring experiences and where they see themselves, and there's so many different things that you can pull together to try and bring some kind of design styling from them. And I always find when I'm doing briefs, getting them to just have a bit of a look on Pinterest, on images, just find anything, put together a mood board. I like these things, I don't like these things. And there could be a common thread that suddenly jumps out. You're like, oh, well, you've chosen a lot of things that are very minimalist and, quite sort of straight geometric typefaces, things like that. Don't like all the pastel colours and the curly whirly fonts and all of these types of things. So that gives you a little bit of a direction.
Bit
it kind of narrows it slightly. Yeah. But I think this is where sort of my brain works it's not a particularly logical brain. It works in a very different creative way. But when people are talking to me about things, I start picturing things in my head and start thinking, oh, this could work, and oh, this could work, and oh, this could work. It's just how my brain works.
Yeah. How does it feel when people are giving you the brief or giving you their feedback, and they're basically asking you to create something that you think looks bloody awful?
Yeah, that has happened before.
I bet.
Yeah, but it's trying to direct it in a way where you're understanding what they're putting across, but saying in as nice a possible way as you can, from a professional perspective, that's not going to last you very long. And again, it's where it comes down to it being completely subjective. Like whenever I see Comic Sans written anywhere, it gives me the chills. I just don't like it. But
and can you say why? Like, or is it just a feeling?
It just reminds me of like being at school. It's like one of those things where it's just like your system typeface that you use for something that looks jokey.
Yeah. Are there any colours that you think people should really avoid as a personal brand?
Blues.
Why?
Sorry, that's straight away blue.
Yeah, why?
Because so many corporates are blues. Unless you're going for... Well, it all depends on your audience, though.
Yeah. If your audience is corporate?
If your audience is corporate, then that would be the way to go. But then I'd probably say don't stick fully with blue. Bring in a vibrant sort of lime green or orange to make it pop. There's different things that you can do with blue. But I do love blue. Turquoise blue is one of my favourite colours. But if you just have navy blue, turquoise blue, royal blue all together, it just saturates it all.
Well, Natalie, I very much look forward to seeing what my colours are going to be, what my logo is going to be. Thanks so much for sharing your ideas and thoughts with me today.
It's great to have a little bit of a briefing session along with everything else.
Thank you. Thank you for listening. If you're serious about growing your profile, take our free profile assessment quiz to see where you're at right now and get hints and tips on how to improve your score. You'll find the link to the quiz in the show notes. If you've enjoyed the episode, it would be mint if you'd subscribe, like, and leave a review. See you next Monday.